for my Mud.Clay.Art membership site. And I've got something really fun that I'm going to be doing with you guys today. It's actually a little coil bowl. Now, this is actually unpainted. I have not painted this yet because we're going to paint it together, but you'll get to see how the process of doing a coil bowl. So with coiling, and I'll explain all that in a minute. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Okie dokie. Well, like I said, we're working with polymer clay. It's all hand built. And so we use a home oven for this baking process because this is a baked clay. Sometimes I use air dry, but mostly I like to use the baked clay because I like working with the polymers and they're more durable and they're easier to work with. So a lot of times when you see coiling, which like I said, this is what this is. Actually, let me go ahead and put my do screen on here so we can see this together. Yeah, you can see this is actually like a coiling process, and basically it's like rolling out your little pieces of clay, which is what I'm going to show you now in a second. I just realized I need to get some clay together. By the way, if you're just popping on, I wanted to let you know that this particular recording, this live is actually pre-recorded. I recorded this one because I'm actually having to go out and do my regular job today, and but I wanted to be able to have something to come on live with and show you guys what's up and promote my Mud.Clay.Art site, which is one of my things that I'm really excited about is having a online Facebook private membership of Mud.Clay.Art so that people can learn about working with clays and realizing that it's actually really fun. There's lots of things you can do, and it's pretty darn simple. And this is kind of a beginner, possibly intermediate class, and I want to take away the stigma of fear and cost for people who might not even thought about exploring clay as a creative option. So anyway, but let's go ahead and get to the lesson right now. Like I said, I'm just doing very small versions because number one, these are just kind of samples to get your feet wet and show you what I'm doing. So with this one, what you normally do is you'll use some sort of a like I'm not necessarily an armature per se, but like a base or whatever. I'm not trying to say what I'm trying to say, but basically, a form. That's the word I'm looking for, like a form to use, especially for a bowl. So generally what people do is they find a form or an already existing shape of a bowl that they want to use. This one was just come in a pack at the Dollar Tree. I thought it was a good size for this little lesson, so that's why I'm using this one. Now, what I'm going to be doing here is I went ahead and took a piece of polymer clay. By the way, this is Sculpey clay, and I'm using the Sculpey 3 here. This is I would call it maybe like a semi-firm clay. The firmest actually, so you want to, when you're doing this particular coiling method, definitely would recommend using something a little bit on the firmer side. And like I said, either the Sculpey 3 or the Super Sculpey, which is super firm, will work really good for this as well. You need something that's going to have it's going to be able to stand up and hold its shape a little bit better. Some of the other little stickier clays, like the original Sculpey, it could work, but it might be a little bit more of a challenge to trying to get it to hold up. So like I said, what I'm going to do here, the first thing I'm going to do is you can see I've got a base on the bottom here. So I'm going to create a base simply by taking this edge here. And usually we do that most of your bowls, is just take your edge and just kind of pressing into it, kind of cut it like a cookie cutter. And I'm just getting that bottom shape. Simple as that. Okay. Let's see, press it in there and hopefully it'll come off. If it doesn't come off, then I'll just have to cut around it. All right, so I got that. Yeah, and you can see I can just pull it off nice and easy. Okay, now you see I've got my little rough edges here. If you can see that close, it's a little rough. I'm just going to take my finger and just kind of here and there, go around with my finger and kind of smooth that down a little bit. And this is going to be, like I said, it's going to be our bottom. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cover this in a piece of plastic, so when it comes time to actually remove it, it'll be easier to take it off. And so I just kind of get that plastic wrap and kind of pull around in there. Probably should get a new piece, but I think I'm going to try to make this work here. This is a piece I used for the last one. All right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm literally just going to set this on top of here, right on top of like the bottom of the bowl, nice and centered. Okay. Now, here's another thing. As you can see with this particular bowl, there's lots of different ways you can do coiling and lots of cool designs and circles and all sorts of things, but I just chose something relatively easy to get you into the idea of coiling. So we've got some of these little balls here, and then we've got our little coils that go around, and I just kind of placed them here and there and then finished it off at the top, which you're going to watch me do here in a minute. Okay, so first off, let me show you. I mean, you know, creating these little balls are actually pretty simple. You just pinch off a little bit. You want to try to keep them in the same size range. I mean, you know what? Let me switch my camera over here because you don't necessarily need to see me. You need to see the bigger screen, okay? That might help a little bit. There we go. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, so you can see here, I've got these balls and I just kind of rolled them out. What I normally do is kind of roll them in my hand a little bit, and then I will kind of make them into a little circle. So you want to get little circles like that. Okay, I'm sorry there is a bit of delay on here. I've got two screens running on StreamYard. By the way, I am streaming from my Facebook pages, which is Crafting with Kim, and my YouTube channel as well. So if you wouldn't mind going to my YouTube channel and subscribing and helping me out on that one, I would really love it. And letting people know what I'm all about here with this membership and things I'm doing with clay, that would be awesome. Appreciate it. All right, so yeah, like I said, I'm creating a lot of these little circles, okay? And then we're going to be incorporating those. Now, some of them are bigger than others, and you know, you want to try to keep them somewhat the same size, and I can see the last two were a little smaller, so I'm going to kind of pull those out. And I think for this, but I actually counted out, I need about 20 or 21. Okay, now, as far as the coiling part goes, okay, so here's what you do for that. I usually take like a little piece like this. Like I said, this is pretty easy to work. It's pretty soft right now. And I roll it in my fingers. I always, when I was a kid, I always think of it like a hot dog. All right. So you just kind of roll it out. And what you want to try to do is use your whole hand. You can see I usually wear a lot of rings. I've took all my rings off from when I worked with clay because it leaves impressions. But so you just roll like this in between both your hands. Okay. And it'll start rolling out. And then you can start rolling it out too, like you do this number here, okay? And then if your ends feel like they're like a little bit thick still, oops, sorry about that noise, that something fell on the top of my roof, my tin roof there. All right, so you just keep rolling and rolling and rolling until you get it to where you want. If it turns out that you have an area, I'll do this on purpose so you can see, like if you're in one spot too long and it gets real thin, you can see it's kind of like got a little thin area. I simply just kind of pinch it back together like that. And then I just keep rolling and it kind of, you know, turns into the size you want again, the thickness that you want. So you just kind of keep rolling it out till you get it to where you want it. And there's another area there. Like I said, you got to be a little careful because it can have a tendency to do that. You want kind of like light pressure. You don't want really hard pressure, but you can kind of do this number and just have it sort of like roll out like that. Okay. And it's a little bit more, consistent. Now also too, if you find that you have flat spots on there and you want to get it to where it's a little bit more cylinder, you can just twist it like this, do a little twist on it, okay? And then it'll kind of take it back to where it was. Okay. All right, so I might end up using this one, although it seems like it's a little bit thick still. So let me just roll this out because I didn't really have an exact length amount on the coil. I just did a bunch of them. And of course, these are pretty long and I'll be pinching them off as I go. Like I won't need all of this for the bowl itself. There's a little area there that's a little thin. So yeah, so what I did here is I pre-rolled a lot of them. You can see up above there, I've already got a lot of them already done out for the sake of time. And so that's what I would do if you were doing doing it yourself too, is just roll a bunch out, have them ready to go, and that way you're just working on the assembly part. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that as is and see if I use that. So first thing I want to do is just take a coil. I think on this one I started with one coil around the bottom, just one solid coil, and then I started adding the little, so I'll use a shorter one here. Let's see, maybe this guy. All right, and so what you want to do is you want to kind of make it stick to your area there. I mean, to your base. You do want to put a little stick on it. Okay, just lightly press on it, and then as you go along, you're going to be actually pressing on it a little bit more too, and onto the whole thing, so it'll all stick together. Now, here's what you do when you get to the ends and you need to cut the ends off and put them together. You want to kind of do it at an angle. You don't want to do it, I mean, if you're, especially if you're working with ceramics, but like I said, cut it at a little bit of an angle like that. And then you can cut the two together at angles and then press them together. And you just kind of smooth it together with your fingers. If this seems like it gets a little sticky on you working with this clay, which sometimes it does, you can take a little cornstarch. I've got some cornstarch sitting here in this bowl, and you just kind of put a little light dusting on your fingers. All right, and then you can handle it, and it doesn't feel all sticky and tacky to you, and it works a lot better. It's easier on your hands. All right, so there's the first one, and I do have it stuck to the bottom a little bit, and you can keep pressing a little bit to get it to stick. All right, so then we're going to just go with another one. All right, I'm going to take another coil here. I think this one might work. Okay, and let me see. I think I did two. I did two before I actually did the, you don't have to do it that way. I don't have to do it exact. Now, one thing too that I would keep in mind is when you're coiling it again, don't start from the same part where you ended it. Don't make your the next one end in the same spot. Like go, start at that point and then go around to another area. That way you don't have all your connection points in the same spot. Okay, so I'm cutting that one, and then we're going to put that together like that. Okay, you can kind of clean it up a little bit. Like I said, if you use the cornstarch in your fingers and just try to manipulate it, it'll stay together pretty good. Okay, and like I said, if anything looks like it's a little wonky, because the coils aren't exact. I mean, I will be honest with you. You can see there's a little bit of variation in the size and the shape. But yeah, you want to try to just make it nice and clean. And you can be able to, like I said, once we get it all together, we'll press that down a little bit more, make it look a little bit more together. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and start a coil. Let's see if this one fits. That's a little small. Actually, I can put these two together and make a quick coil. So I can use this, so I'm not wasting. Put that up there. All right. Excuse me a second, guys. I'm actually going to put my hair up. It's a little bit toasty today. I thought I'd be able to get through without it, but I just can't stand it. It's too hot for me. All right, so we're going to do this number. Okay, so I know that that one works. Need to make sure that that's fit together a little bit more so it doesn't come apart. All right, so that coil is going to fit. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take, actually, let me start my coil. I'm going to start the coil probably about like right here. Like I said, I don't want to start it at the point where I ended the other one. Okay, so let me go ahead and put in a little ball. I guess those are balls. Okay, get the ball put in there. Make sure, like I said, that you press that coil to the other coil to make it stick. Okay, they need to stick together. All right. And I'm going to put another ball in here as well. Actually, I'm going to try to get, let me see, I think maybe 3 or 4 in this section. And I'll show you in a second how I'm putting them in there once I get this on here like this. Press it on. Okay. All right, that's a little bit of a weak spot there. Actually, if I put a ball in there, it would probably work just fine. All right, so I'm going to press that ball in there, and you're just kind of making a little bit of an arch with the ball. And I'll show you a little bit closer once I get this one connected here, what it looks like. Okay, so cut that and put those together. Okay, so you see what I'm doing here? And just kind of pressing it all together. All right, and you got, like I said, we're going to press this down a little bit more, make it a little bit flatter. But you want to try to make sure that you've got your areas connected. and it keeps a little bit of like a little bit of an opening there. Need to clean that up a little bit there. When I connected it, it looks a little bit funky. Okay, now got those, and we just continue on. Let's see, I think I did on this one, I did like 2 rows of the coils, and then I put the, I need another, put another ball in here. I can see that right here. I'm going to stick that in there so it looks more symmetrical. And see how I'm doing that? Literally, I'm just pulling this away and sticking it in there. So you can do that too. All right, get in there nice and tight. Okie dokie. Now, next row, like I said, what I did with this one, this is definitely a little bit too fat. I need to roll this one out a little bit more. Okay. I mean, they're not going to be exact. I don't think I could ever really get it exact, but you want them fairly close as far as your coils and your balls. So you don't want a really big one unless you're doing something like that, you know, in your design that you're making it like really, really big. And you do like a big one and a small one, and you can do that if you design it correctly. But right now we're just going with some of the basics. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start right here. All right, and I'm just wrapping this around to follow the shape. Now this plastic that I put on here, since I did use it last time, it's not really sticking to the bowl too much, so it's kind of wanting to come up. So, but it still works. I'm still making it work. All right. So we got that one. Like I said, it needs to stick to the other one on top. And let's see, I don't particularly like where this is stopping, but I think it's okay. It's right on the edge of the ball. But we're going to go ahead and cut this one anyway. Where's my little, you can see I'm using an X-Acto knife. You can use a kitchen knife. Actually, this is a clay tool. But an X-Acto knife or a kitchen knife or anything like that works fine. Just something with a sharp edge there. Okay. All right. So we got that one. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and put another thing of balls on, another line of balls. Now this time what I'm doing with the balls is I'm doing alternative. So since I put them up 4 here, I'm going to put 4 on the other side, so it looks more symmetrical and cleaner. So I've got the ball, and let me see if this wraps around. It does. I can work this one. Let me start it somewhere right here, maybe. Okay. All right. And like I said, it's the same thing. You just press onto it and try to keep that same shape going. Okay. You just go around. You press your clay into it, make it nice and sticky. Just make sure, like I said, that you are making sure that your coils are sticking to one another. And at the very end, once we get it all on, like I said, we will press it together a little bit more. So I'm just trying to put that, like I said, in the center of those 2. Okay. All right, let's see, I got to get 2 more on there too, Kim. I guess I missed this side. Another ball in here. All right, right here. So I'm just curious, as you're coming on, if you would leave comments if you have any questions about this. And, you know, once again, I'm telling you a little bit about what I'm doing here with, I love teaching and I love working with different mediums, but I just love working with clay. And, you know, there's a lot of versatility with clay. So that's why I wanted to start this private membership. It's $15 a month. That's the launch price, and it will not be that price forever. This is just an introductory price. But in that membership, we're going to be doing all kinds of fun things. We will have monthly projects that are really cool. I may be doing some fun, whimsical projects as far as functional things for your house. But I'll be showing you different types of methods and different types of clay and processes of doing different things and painting and whatnot. So there's a lot going on in it. And I'm also going to give a member's choice every month. Like I'll put a project out there and I'll let the members, you know, vote on what they would like to learn. I'll also be available for one-on-one. The classes, by the way, will be taught live Either that or I can do them through Zoom. And you will have an opportunity to, ask questions. You'll have material lists and tracers and everything that you need to be able to create the projects that I create for you. Now, the projects I'm not going to throw. I'm only going to have like one major project a month. I know everybody's got busy lives, and we don't have the time to sit and make clay all day long. But you'll have one like major project, and then actually I will do kind of like a members. Kind of like a challenge where we do a challenge, and if we'll do like a little contest and pick winners and all that, and then we will I will award prizes. Believe it or not, I'm going to do prize giveaways and everything. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And I really hope that you folks would consider joining my Mud Clay group site and checking it out. And I do have that in the link, the comments. In the comments, you can actually, at the very top, you can see that. And that link there, if you click on that link, it will take you to the Mud.Clay page, Mud.Clay.Art page. And you can sign up and get some more information from there. And you can always message me privately and talk a little bit about it if you're unsure or whatever. I'm always available. I'm pretty easygoing. All right, so let's see. We need to do this. I'm going to put one more row. I just want to make sure it's going to fit. Okay, one more row without the balls. Okay. And I'm just following it along and pinching it up there. Okay, same thing here. It's going to have that little wavy on it. Now, you can see at the top of this one, I actually did finish it off with a wave because I liked that. I thought it was neat. If a person didn't want to, they don't have to keep it in a wavy. They could have actually finished it off nice and clean at the top by putting little smaller pieces in between here and cutting them. But I thought the wave was kind of cool. And for the sake of the teaching, it's actually pretty fast too. It's a little bit faster than adding the extra little small pieces on there. Okay. So I got that one on, that one on, that one on. Now it's time for another row of balls. Okay, I think I'm going to end up using these pieces. I don't know if I'm going to have enough coil. I got this one big old coil over here that I'll be able to use too. Okay, now another line of the balls. So this time, let me see. I'm doing this. I guess I need to alternate and go back to what I was doing before. It's like right underneath the first row. Okay. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm creating this row and then this row right underneath it. I'm just alternating the sides whenever I do it. Okay. And I'm going to have to use this big guy here. Let's see. So I need that one ball there, and then I'll need another ball on that side. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and start here. Let me bring this up. Maybe you can see it a little bit better what I'm doing. So yeah, you're just kind of following the line, so to speak. That one needs to be cleaned up a little bit, doesn't it, Kim? That's a little bit funky. I'll clean that up once I get this on, and I can go back and tweak everything. Once you actually get your coils assembled, you can go back and clean it up and decide how you want to do it. I might end up taking this plastic off because it's kind of wanting to come off on me. Maybe I should have taped it on the bottom. All right, so, oops, I'm forgetting my balls, Kim. Okay, so I got put one in here. All right, I need to set the ball like right in here. I can literally just pull the clay away and stick it right in there. And then just kind of pinch it together a little bit. Okay. All right, then I got another one right here I need to put in. All right. One thing is nice. I mean, you do want to have the clay somewhat sticky enough to where it's going to stick to itself. But if it gets too sticky on your hands, like I said, you use some of that, the cornstarch. There you go. And then that'll take care of the stickiness on your hands. And it does feel like it makes it easier to work when you do that, when you use that cornstarch on your fingers, which I probably need to do here in a second because it's feeling a little bit sticky to me. Okay. All right. And we got around to this one. I'm going to cut that off. See, I'm cutting at a little bit of an angle, and I might have to cut that a little bit more. Okay, get that out of the way. Yep, I got to cut that just a smidge more. You want them to line up almost like, you know, right on the ends of each other. And you can press it together. Okay. All right. Okie dokie. Now I'm going to put one more row on and without the balls, and then we'll be done. And then I'll show you how we finish it off and get it kind of cleaned up. I'm going to have to put these two together right here because I didn't have enough to work with. And I did it. All right, let's see. Does this go around? Pretty much makes it. I'm going to add a little bit on the end here just to make sure I make it. You want to get all the way around and find, you could always stretch it a little bit if it's a little short. You know, it's not a big deal because this clay does stretch. It has some give in it because it's plastic clay, has a plastic base in it. So that'll work right there. Okay, so last row we're doing, you can actually kind of flip it over if you wanted to, but it's kind of, to me, I find it's a little harder to manipulate because you can't see it. If it was a bigger bowl, it would probably be easier to flip over. But in this case, I'm just going to keep it upside down. And start about, I don't know, maybe right here. Okay. See, I'm just pressing that in again. I think I actually did 2 rows at the top here. Oh no, no, I didn't. This would be the last one on this guy. All right, so that's going to stop there. Let me finish off the other side over here. Yeah, probably, like I said, add me. I should have put another row of. Oh, you know what? But I did do this, didn't I? That's what I did. Make it finish off. I put another row of the balls on, so it looked really cool at the top. All right, so I'm just going to kind of wing it and put them wherever I think that they need to go to look cool. All right, I think I ended up putting more on this part than I did on the regular ones. I think I did 5. And you can always do that when you're done with it too. You can do that when you take it off. You can finish it off at the top, and I'll show you what I'm talking about so I get all those in. So I'm going to press another one in there. Get that one pinched in. Okay. And let's see, another one in here. I think I'm just going to have to take it off to be able to see what it looks like on the top. That's what I did last time to get it to where I want it, and then I can finish it off from there. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, like I said, I hope that you guys would consider checking out the coiling process, of course, with this, but just the group itself and learning about mud and all the things that you can do with mud and clay. All right, so, all right, I'm just going to kind of put a little hand press on this to kind of get it formed up a little bit better. And if you want to, like I said, you can go along and check it all out and fix any little boogers you might have. Since sake of time, I'm just going to go ahead and pull this off because this literally is just our sample. Take this out, take my plastic off. Okay, and voila, looky there. You got yourself a cute little bowl. Now, what I was talking about is you can see the top here. There is, well, number one, I got to put this little guy together a little bit more. That's not too great, Kim. That doesn't look too pretty. But you want to finish off your top kind of nice. And so I'm kind of balancing out the top by adding some more of these little balls. It's because they look really cool at the end, at the top of it. So I just kind of sort of just placed them anywhere I wanted to make it look like it was sitting properly. I mean, not sitting, sitting symmetrically on the top, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay, and let's see. Now you can see this is a little bit like rubbery. If you were using like a heavier coil and you were using ceramic clay, it wouldn't be this like rubbery, because this is, like I said, a polymer clay, and it would be a little bit more stiff, and you would let it dry, and then you could, you know, manipulate a little bit more if it was actually like ceramic clay. But you still get a very cool effect with using the polymer clays too. And like I said, you can make bigger coils. You don't have to do small coils like this. I just did the bigger coils because I was trying to show you a sample and do something small. Okay. So anyway, you get the general idea. This is how you do a simple coil pot. And like I said, you can go along and press them and make them a little tighter and all that sort of thing. But for now, I've got this pretty much together. You can see the process of that. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to paint this one here. So you can show, so I can try to give you an idea of what it's like when it's painted and how pretty they can be. Okay, and I just realized that I didn't grab my, oh, I have my paints right here. What am I talking about, Kim? They're right here in front of me. Okay, so I'm going to take my clay and get it out of the way. All right, and I've got a silicone mat over here, which I like to work off of, and it's kind of, I don't want to get paint all over that, so I'm going to pull this away, and you can see I have glass underneath here. So what I'm going to do is put, let's see, I'm just going to stick a pizza pan underneath here to take some of that glare away while we paint so it doesn't look so bad. Okay, on your eyes, so bad on your eyes. All right, let me get my thing here and grab my paints. So I decided I'm going to do like a, kind of like a cream. I'm see how this works out. I'm just actually winging this, guys. I'm going to do a cream, buttercream with a little bit of touch of the turquoise on there, on the little balls. And then I'm going to do a little aging process and we'll see how all that turns out. Okay. Like I said, this is actually the first time I put these colors together on a coil bowl. So we shall see what happens, but I think it'll turn out pretty cool. All right. So first step is I'm going to use just a larger brush and I'm just going to brush everything on with my first coat. Everything's going to go with the cream color. Okay. And you can see I'm going to do the bottom on it and everything, okay? Now, you can use just a big old brush of any sort to do this. I'm using a flat brush here, whatever gets in there, but you want to make sure you get in all your little crevices. All right. I need more paint than that, Kim. I do have a tendency to be a paint Nazi, I'll tell you that. I'm conservative about my paints because I see so much paint going to waste. All right. And actually, to tell you the truth, I should have painted the inside first, but I will dry this and then I am going to paint the inside because it's going to be easier to handle when you've got your inside painted. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and stop right now and do that, and I'm going to mute for a second because I need to turn my heat gun on and it's going to be a little bit loud, so give me a second on that. I just realized that I had myself muted through that whole thing. I'm sitting here talking to you, and I realized I muted myself. Okay, well, anyway, I was saying that when you paint this, make sure you get in your little nooks and crannies and your crevices everywhere so that you don't want to really, unless you like that effect and you want to see that. And when we age it down, it'll kind of fill in anyway. So, okay, I am going to mute again for this and get this dry. Okay, I unmuted this time. Now we should be good. One of the things I want to recommend with this too is once this is actually dry and it's painted and it's at the last, you're done with everything, is that you can take some clear coat, like a Varathane based one, and do a little spray coat on this and make it nice and shiny. It gives it a little bit more protection, and it also makes it look a little bit, like I said, glossy, if you want a glossy finish on it. If not, you can keep the matte finish, whatever you prefer. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and finish my outside, which is what I started before. Get that cream color on there. And I ended up getting my blue and my cream, so I got to get some more paint. Like I said, this is just our first coat, especially for the outside. I probably, like I said, will go back and do a second coat on the inside just to make it a little cleaner. In the camera, it probably looks pretty good, but I can see some little streakies going on with it. Okay. And for the top, I'm just kind of going around the edge there. I'm getting it at the edge of where the blue is. If you wanted to go over the edge like that and get it all the way onto the side, that's your preference, whatever you want to do. But you want to have it just look kind of nice and clean on the top. And that, I'm just taking the flat end of my brush. See, I'm just laying my brush on there like that and just giving it a stroke. Okay, and going around the top. All right. Okay. So, how is everybody thinking about this? Does anybody have any questions? Like I said, I would love, love, love for you to be a part of my membership group. We're going to do some really, really fun things that are, like I said, this is more of like a fun, but functional. But we're going to do some really fun, just decorative things. And actually, when polymer clay, it's pretty darn durable. So this can get wet. This can go outside in a garden and, you know, have a garden project. You can actually use some of it. I mean, I don't really know if it's dishwasher safe, honestly. I'd have to check on that and see if it actually is dishwasher safe. But I know that it is like you can hand wash with the polymer clays once they're baked. And, you know, they're really dang durable. So I wouldn't eat off them. They're not food safe, but you can use it for other types of utilitarian uses or functional uses in your home, as long as you're not eating off of it per se. Okay, I've got one more swipe there, and I think it's pretty clean on the top. All right. Okay, so I've got my first cream coat color. I'm going to pop it again with a heat gun. So okay, hopefully that's dry enough right there. That should be dry enough, at least for now, what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take a smaller brush. I don't know exactly how small I'm going to need. It depends on how steady my hand is. But I'm going to take a smaller brush and make sure that your bristles are all together. And then I have a little bunch of scragglies hanging out on the side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and I'm going to paint my circles turquoise. Okay. This doesn't really take that long. I'm just painting the top surface of them. All right. I can see some areas where I missed with the other paint too, but it's okay because after we're all said and done with this part, I'm actually going to throw an antiquing process on this, and it's going to darken everything up, and then I'll go back and do a little touch on top after that. The only reason I'm using the antiquing gel is because I like the effect of it being a little bit aged. A person could leave it exactly like this if they wanted to. They don't have to, but I would definitely say that you need to put a couple of good coats of paint on if you're not going to put any kind of antiquing gel or anything like that on it. Just yeah, you want to just leave it so you don't have any streaks on it. If you're not going to antique it down, just put a couple good coats on it so it looks nice and clean and pretty. All right. So if I wanted to get really fancy, I might go around after I'm done with the teaching and finish it up and actually put a little like extra dot on the circles or something like that, you know, to kind of give it a little extra bump of design or an interest. But like I said, for now, I'm just showing you guys the basics so that you can have an idea what it's like. And I can do a little finished project. All right. All right, I'm almost done. I think I just got 2 left. And like I said, there's something about this putting this aging on here that when you put the aging medium on there, antiquing, I'm just kind of aging, but antiquing or distressed, it just makes it to me, it just makes it so much richer looking. I just love it. Okay, one thing nice about this is that I've actually got the turquoise on the inside too. So whatever I paint inside the inside of the turquoise is going to look the same on the inside. I have to be like super clean about it. Okay, so that's kind of, oh, I missed one. Do you get the idea on that? All right, and then, okay, so I do need to, that's got to get a little dry on as well, because when I have to rub off the antiquing medium, which is this stuff here, this is just for chalk paints. It's what I could find at the mat, but they do make them for acrylics as well, but it still worked as a water-based antiquing medium. This is actually wax-based. The other ones I don't think are wax, but I'm going to mute again just so I can dry off those little Alrighty then. So, all right. So you can see the basic idea here. Okay. You guys can do it any way you want. That one's still kind of tacky. Why is that tacky? I guess it's just tacky. Okay. Now I will tell you, I didn't do the best paint job on here. I'm a lot cleaner. I would go back and fix all of this, you know, and make these little guys a little cleaner. And I will end up doing that. But like I said, for the sake of time, I know I'm kind of getting into y'all's time frame. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the antiquing medium on, and then I can clean it up from there later on. Okay. So I wanted to show you how this works. So I'm just going to kind of take some out of the lid, honestly, because it makes it quicker. You don't waste it. So what you're going to do is that paper towel. I guess I'll just use mine. It's brown. It comes in different colors. I mean, you can find it in black too. I just happen to have the brown on hand. And this time you can see I'm literally just swiping the whole thing with it. Okay, getting the whole thing in there. Now I don't. This dries pretty fast, so I don't want to do the entire area and then go back and try to clean it up. Because like I said, to me, it can dry too fast and you'll have all of that darkness on there. But the important thing with this is you're trying to get inside those lines, the crevices, because that's what's going to give it that aged look. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm out of the camera. So you can see what I'm doing here, okay? Now, I'll get to a certain point, and then I'm going to take a cloth or a paper towel, is what I got handy, and you're just going to kind of wipe it out. You're going to wipe off the excess. And see how it creates this really cool, like old aged effect to it? You can actually see the little lines actually from the polymer clay. And I didn't even know they were there, but it actually looks kind of neat, I think. I love it. And I will go back and do like a quick little highlight on top with the turquoise on top of that. Okay, you can see that effect there. See how it takes it down, almost changes it to a little bit of a green. But I'm going to bring that back up, that color back up, when I after I'm done with this, because I put a little dry brush on top of that. But definitely get inside all of those little line areas in there, because that's the whole point of doing this, really, is to get inside those lines so that it looks like it's been beat up, been used. So this is an optional step. Nobody has to do this. If you don't like this idea, you don't like the look of it, or like I said, you can get black too. It does come in black. I think those are the only two colors it comes in that I've ever seen is the black and the brown. I don't think I've ever seen it in any other antiquing color per se. All right. I think I've got most of my crevices. So once again, I'm just going to wipe it out, bring some of that color back. And I'm wiping out the bottom too, that little bottom base. If you find you get too much and you really don't like it, you can wet it up a little bit, just a little bit of dampness on your cloth, and it'll take it off before it gets too dry. And that way you can add it back on or do what you want. But be careful, because it will sometimes pull the paint off as well. But of course, you know, it's just acrylic water-based paint. You can just go back and repaint it if you want. How pretty is that? I'm telling you, that's gorgeous. That is really gorgeous in there. That is pretty. Now we're going to do the outside, okay? And this stuff dries super fast too, so you don't have to worry about it too much. I mean, plus you're wiping off the majority of it. That almost looks like it's verdigris, like it's what I'm trying to say. I'll think of the word in a second. I forgot the word. When it's like coppered and it's aged, you know, when it gets, the copper turns kind of a green color. I know what it's called. I just can't think of it right now, because my mind's not in that frame of mind right now. You know what I mean, Burn? Anybody ever see that show, Burn? What was that, Burn? All right, so, all right, here I go. Just wiping this off, and giving it that really pretty, super duper cool look. Isn't that gorgeous? See, it just like makes it, honestly. It just totally makes it when you do that. Just really adds such a dimension. And that's actually what it does. It adds like a different dimension to the paint. And all that little bowl and all your little nooks and crannies and all your little funkiness when you do your coiling, and you think, oh, that doesn't look so great. I'll tell you what, you get this thing painted up, ain't nobody's business. It just looks like a beautiful piece of artwork. Functional piece of artwork, actually. Yeah, it's functional too. All right. So see how quick and easy this really goes? It's not bad at all. This goes on pretty fast. All right, I guess I need to do the bottom. I'm working fast because I don't want it to dry on me. Like I said, it is a wax base. This particular stuff is wax base, which means it kind of sets in and it makes it protected too. So in this case, actually, if you're using this medium, technically you really wouldn't have to put that gloss on there, because sometimes when you do that, it can react to the wax and it causes everything to be sticky. So I'm going to recant on what I'm saying. If you're going to use a wax base, a aging antique gel like this, then I would not put a polyurethane sealer on it. Number one, the wax does give it a little bit of a sheen, brings it up a little bit. And like I said, it would have a reaction with that and it would turn out to be really sticky, and you wouldn't want to deal with that mess. Okay, so now, yeah, you can see it turned it kind of like a tan color more than the cream. But I am going to go back and highlight those areas real quick and bring the color back up just a smidge, just because I like to do that. I think the inside is absolutely gorgeous. I almost wouldn't touch it, but I'm going to anyway, because I know me. I know how I work. But what I'm doing with this is really dry brush, okay? Just taking a real light brush, I mean, almost like nothing on the brush, and just giving it like a really quick over. My brush is a little wet. So I'm just kind of doing this number to kind of give it a little bit more of the color come through. I sort of like the color that it was, but I did want to brighten it up just a smidge. I mean, you can see it's not much. It's just enough to kind of give it a color. And of course, if that dries and you want to be a little lighter, you can go ahead and make it a little lighter too. Just a little pat, pat, pat like that. And it's got it nice and dry. It doesn't look like much in the camera, but it did kind of bring it up an edge. And you can go and do this number like that too and add a little bit more, but wait till it dries between coats. All right, now for that one, I got to do the outside with the, this is going to be a little interesting because I've got to make sure that I don't hit my, my little balls with this. So in this case, I'm going to switch my brush and use a different brush. And I'm like I said, I'm not using much at all anyway. I'm just kind of doing like a little highlights. And I don't like that brush. I need more of a flat brush for this, but I'll use a small flat brush. Because like I said, it's just a little bit here and there. It's enough to kind of go over the top. I do need a little bit more paint than that. All right. So what do you guys think? You think this is cool? I think it's pretty cool. Like I said, you're going to be watching this. It is pre-recorded, but I would really appreciate if anybody watches it, that they leave some comments for me, and or questions. And like I said, visit my Crafting with Kim. You can see right down there, scrolling down there. Where is it at on my finger? Right there, Crafting with Kim with a K. You can go to my YouTube. And you can go, which I really appreciate if you go to my YouTube and subscribe, hit that notification button, leave comments. And or I am actually going to have to switch that bigger brush. I just have to be careful because the bigger brush works so much faster. Okay, there we go. And you can do it. I'm kind of doing it on the side of the brush, you know, like touching it on the sides a little bit. And even if I do get a little bit of that that tan, the cream on the blue, I can just go back and hit it anyway. Just go over the blue. I don't think I'm going to hit the blue in this case. I think I'm going to leave the blue, that turquoise, the way it is. I'm not going to go back and do every one of those. I'm just going to leave it. Okay, so you guys get the general idea, okay? You just want to put that aging process on and lighten it up a little bit. And there you have a nice, pretty finished bowl. Okay, and like it almost looks to me like a vine, like a woven vine because of the coloring of it. It almost looks like a vine instead of clay. But it did turn out pretty darn cool. I'm pretty proud of it. I have to figure out what I'm going to do with it. I'll find some goodies to stick in there. All right, well, let's see. Let me switch back over here. Get myself back over in the large screen there if I can. All right, and like I said, I hope that you folks enjoyed this little tutorial and you got to see the process of making a coil. I'm going to get this out of the way right now. A coil bowl, okay, using coil, and then the little circles, and then how to paint the darn thing. Like I said, zillion ways to do it. This is just one way. And I hope, once again, that you will consider looking at the link at the top of these comments on my Mud.Clay.Art group, and joining up and having a blast with me. Thanks so much for joining, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.